With the amount of amazing news that was at Jump Festa 2017, there's a lot of stuff to talk about, but I definitely owe you guys a Bird and Blood video. So today I wanted to do 7 changes that need to happen in One Piece game 2017. I believe it still will come in 2017 even though there was no One Piece game announcement at Jump Festa. But, you know, I still believe there will be a One Piece game from Spike in 2017. I just said 2017 a lot of times, but this is essentially 7 things Burning Blood did wrong. In no particular order, because I didn't really think it through that well. I'm gonna start off with the most obvious one. J-Stars had a better fucking story mode. We all know the Burning Blood story mode was trash. There's absolutely nothing to it. It was thrown together like a damn school project. It only covered one arc. Yeah, we said this a million times, okay? But maybe if we say it enough, it'll get through to Spike, and they'll realize how bad they messed up with Burn and Blood content-wise. Because Burn and Blood isn't even actually a fighting game. It's actually just given the title of an action game. They could really do whatever they wanted with it. It doesn't have to go by, like, fighting game standards. It was far worse than a Storm story mode. And this is coming from someone who really just can't play Storm for more than a week after it comes out. The cutscenes are nice, but that's literally the only good thing about the story mode. The map is pointless and trash. The fights just go from one to the next. Sometimes it's a survival mission. Sometimes they alter the damage scaling to emulate difficulty. I wouldn't have a problem with that if the story mode just wasn't shit in general and just boring to play. I didn't even finish it. I bought the game twice. I put days into Burn and Blood, and I've never even finished the story mode. But like I was saying, J-Stars had a better story mode, and the J-Stars story mode was shit. I mean, but it actually had side quests. You're not just a fucking dot on the map that you have absolutely no control over. It's pointless. There's no reason for it to be there. You're just clicking X through a damn slideshow of One Piece shit you've seen. I think there's a level up function, but I don't even know what it's there for. It's so pointless. Like, Spike, before you merged with Chunsoft, back when you made Dragon Ball games yearly, you were actually pretty fucking good at making anime game story modes. Or at least, I mean, I know you could. Tenkaichi 2, that's a very good story mode for a Dragon Ball game. Ultimate Tenkaichi, not a very good game, but the story mode wasn't that bad for a Dragon Ball game. And it had 2 different story modes. It had one for your creative character and one for the normal story. So, I mean, Burn and Blood was just shit. It was rushed. The story was trash. I usually go really easy on Burn and Blood because it's the first One Piece game they did. It's awesome. They basically built it from the ground up. We're just saying, in the next game, that story mode shit will not slide. Don't copy and paste your shit like Xenoverse 2. But the thing is, Xenoverse 1 had a good story mode. Xenoverse 2 sucked just because it was the exact same thing and no one wanted to play that shit again. So yeah, I just really want Spike to get back to making story modes how they used to, because they actually made a game with pretty freaking good gameplay that goes in depth, sort of. Yeah, I'll give it that. I really don't want to put character roster as a point, because I talk about character roster all the time. Character roster in Burn and Blood, pretty fucking disappointing for One Piece. For fighting game standards, really good. For anime game standards, it's really average at best. Definitely could be way better for One Piece, because there's just so much you can do. But yeah, it's the first game. One thing though that I really do think is slightly inexcusable is the lack of pre-time skip variants. I mean, they have pre-time skip Luffy, but no pre-time skip Straw Hats whatsoever, no pre-time skip Zoro or Sanji, no pre-time skip Frankie, and then, yeah, it really does get into character roster, actually. Inevitably, because we're talking about, you know, characters. So, Spike always brings a better roster in the second game, and they have to. Honestly, if Burn and Blood 2 does not have a better roster, I'm definitely not going to support it as much. There are really so many characters in One Piece that you can name and come up with ways that they could implement them into this game without really coming up with anything crazy or drastically changing. And it's not in there most likely because of time or budget. I actually did a whole video of characters I want to see with Dr. Blick. You can check that out. I'll probably do more. Now, the lack of pre-time skip Straw Hats and a lot of other stuff is definitely probably because this game was really Marineford focused, but no pre-time skip Zoro, Sanji, Frankie. I always felt like that's something this game was missing, is I feel like having Sanji and Zoro as 2000s, it makes a lot of sense, and I mean, I think a lot of people would prefer to have pre-time skip Sanji or Zoro on their team instead of, I don't know, like Bon Clay or Buggy. Even though Zoro and Sanji pre-time skip might not be the best characters, I mean, they still gotta keep up with certain ones. Within the 2000s, there are some characters that are kinda shit, so they could come up with ways to make a pre-time skip Zoro and Sanji, and even Frankie, you know, fight on par with those of the same tier. And giving them supports, you know, will definitely help as well. So yeah, pre-time skip variants. Also, there needs to be more underlings of the arc villains. Even if in the next title spike included everyone from the fighter ballot and the top 10 video me and Blick did, it still leaves a lot of One Piece unrepresented. More CP9 agents, Enel's priest. I mentioned a video where I said we needed Mr. 1, so you know that's a Baroque Works agent, maybe Mr. 3 as well. So yeah, there are definitely a lot of memorable underlings in One Piece, and a lot of them got skipped over, so that kind of goes along with sort of like the same thing, you know, we need a lot of more pre-time skip stuff represented in this game, and I definitely see characters like the ones I just mentioned. I picture people like that getting sort of brushed aside and never really put in a sequel game ever, so that'd be really disappointing. This may sound crazy, but I almost want to see Spike get back to that Tenkaichi level where they really just showed off a ton of, you know, Dragon Ball characters. And I feel like honestly roster for anime games is probably the most important thing. Gameplay of course is important as well, but you know, look at these games like Dokkan and Treasure Cruise that do really well. One of the main addicting factors is the variety of characters, how many characters they actually put in there. In Treasure Cruise there are so many characters, like unless you're extremely knowledgeable of One Piece, there are characters in Treasure Cruise you might not even remember. And that's a really cool thing about that game and Dokkan, you know, the collecting aspects of all the characters. So character roster is definitely important, and if we ever got to see Spike get back to that Tenkaichi 3 level, just putting all different sorts of characters into the game, I don't care if they're cloned, honestly. I really fucking don't, because it's an anime game. It doesn't really matter. Let's get some damn characters in it. You can tell me if you think otherwise, you know, that's cool. Put it in the comments. Alright, another thing I want to talk about is the game modes. That's something that Burn and Blood really messed up on. That's something that Storm kind of messes up on too. Xenoverse has definitely remedied the whole thing by just, you know, putting everything around the hub world. You got parallel quests, you got online battles, you can play with friends, you know, 3v3, it's all gravy. You know, they also added new things in Xenoverse 2. They have the giant boss battle quest, you know, with the brainwashing elements and all that crazy stuff that was in Xenoverse 2. That's awesome. Xenoverse 2 has like awesome game modes. It's really cool. Burn and Blood, on the other hand, fucked up game modes. Really, the only thing to play in Burn and Blood is online ranked, because the story mode sucks and Pirate Flag Battle sucked. It was so fucking pointless. They did a trailer for it when the global release or localized release came, and I thought, you know, I didn't even understand what the hell it was. It really didn't make any sense to me, because it's really a game type that it would be awesome if people actually played it and the lobby was full, but for the most part it's just full of bots, which I hate games where it drops a bot in the place of players. I don't know why, it annoys me. You know, I want to play against people, you know, not bots, you know, if I play online. Simple as that. But, you know, Pirate Flag Battle, it had a pretty cool concept, but it was executed horribly. I mean, I feel like there's not much they could do with the way they built Burn and Blood. That's why One Piece game 2017, I honestly feel like they need to take more liberty with it, put under a different, not really IP, because it's, you know, One Piece, but a different game series title, different game project. That way they can just do different things. How do you give an anime game longevity? You know, not having any type of tournament mode doesn't help, you know. I feel like just a Coliseum battle mode, if they found any way to implement, you know, a Coliseum battle into a One Piece game as a game mode, that'd just do crazy well or at least it'd be fun for a little bit. I mean, come on, it'd be something different to do than online ranked, because that's all there is to do on Burning Blood since day one it came out, because all the other game types suck, even the story mode. Simple as that. So they definitely just need to come up with something to give the game longevity. I don't know, just not flag battle, because that shit was garbage. I don't want to go too into detail because I could come up with tons of videos on just different game types or whatever they could do for Burning Blood. I will definitely do that, because I mean, talking about the game is a lot less frustrating than actually playing it. Alright, so the fourth thing is really cosmetic, kind of vain, but one thing I felt like Burning Blood messed up was skins. Not only were you charged for a lot of the skins, I mean, I wasn't charged for them because I thought a lot of them were fucking stupid, they were pointless, which skins are, but I mean, these aren't even really ones that like you see in the anime or you see in the manga, and not to mention a majority of the skins are all for Luffy. But aside from that, you could have given a Strong World costume to, you know, someone who is actually in Strong World, like Zoro and Sanji, even though I'm not really a fan of Strong World. That, yet again, another video topic in itself. One really cool skin was Afro Luffy. Like, that's a really dope skin. I'm glad they put something like that in the game. But I mean, shit, like, what other than that and the film gold stuff? Like, we want to see stuff from the series, you know, for skins. I think the Afro Luffy comes from like chapter covers. I don't really consider that anything legitimate. It's definitely not something I care about. I'm not getting my point across the best. Here are some skins that I would much prefer to see in Burning Blood. Zoro with the suit and mustache and Dressrosa. Just really any of the Dressrosa disguises would be cool to have, especially Law's. That'd be really cool. How about instead of Kung Fu Luffy, you give me Luffy's fucking original clothes? How about? Or maybe the frilly shit from Amazon Lily. The Bounty. You could at least give Enies Lobby. Enies Lobby would have been dope. To have the black shorts, that'd be cool. We don't have Crocodile's Alabasta skin. We don't have any Impel Down skins. One that's a little bit crazy but would be awesome is young Garp and Sengoku in suits, like when they fought Shiki as admirals. That would definitely be incredible to have. There are really a lot of characters that they could have pre-time skip variants just as skins. It could just be cosmetic. Like Kid, he'd really be the exact same for pre-time skip. Post-time skip, he does have one arm, but I mean, it's really just cosmetic, you know, the metal arm. It doesn't make a difference at all. So, you know, a pre-time skip Kid would be really cool. And then there's like Zoro and Sanji. If they had pre-time skip variants, they could have so many costumes. You know, Sanji's wore various suits. Of course, pre-time skip Zoro wore different clothes, and there's also Enies Lobby Zoro. They had a version of Rob Lucci without hockey. They could really just give him a suit. They could give him a suit anyway, no one would care. You know, his black CP9 suit. Dofi could definitely have a couple different costumes as well. Being the first game, I kind of get why they didn't focus too much on costumes, but you know, that's definitely something in the next one they can do. Because how much attention they paid to One Piece in some of the details, costumes is definitely something people appreciate. The dual variants of Law and Doflamingo, the Shurazoro, these are all things I've ranted about. You know, they should have been in the game, and that really just elevates it to the point of a lot of skins and even some characters hidden behind a paywall. So, alright, for the fifth thing, I have character switching cooldowns. This is something that was not in Burning Blood, and I think definitely should have been. You can really just switch back between like as much as you want. There are tag combos, all types of things, and it really just makes the game fucking hectic. That's really the way to play in S rank, and I don't think it should be. I think we should be able to just fight one-on-one sometimes. That's how most of the fights in the show generally are. But you just got people constantly switching between their Buggy and their Sabo and their Whitebeard, you know, just whatever. Blackbeard is another one that constantly gets switched into. Because it could just take out your Devil Fruit if he's able to clip you when he comes flying in. Gets pretty obnoxious, so I think cooldowns is definitely something that should be in the next One Piece game if it's an action sort of fighting oriented game. I mean, there are certain games where cooldowns aren't necessary. Being able to instantly character swap is definitely a big part of Burning Blood, but I'm like, in the next One Piece game, it really doesn't need to be. You know, constantly switching, it works in a game like Marvel vs. Capcom, but you know, games like Storm get cooldowns, and I think like Burning Blood should be one of those games, though. But I think some people might be against the whole cooldown switching, I guess, if you're like an S rank player, but when you get into the higher ranks of Burning Blood, it's nothing but people abusing the broken mechanics. And honestly, I will lump with that character stacking as well. That's something that could be simply remedied, you know, with like a patch almost. I don't think that'd be that hard to just limit what you can use, because they did it to the game already. They completely rebalanced this game over a month after it came out. There are many characters that were 2,500 that got moved up to 3,000. There are characters that got bumped down, and it just really just switched up everything. There are even supports that got modified as well. So I think character stacking is a really simple dilemma. We get tired of playing people with multiple Luffys. I guess it really doesn't affect the developers because they're not playing the game, obviously. But seriously, I think a lot of us would like character stacking to not really be a thing as well. I gave this one its own point. Unity Chain, along with the damage buffs, there are just too many combos that can take out your full gauge when you don't even really know what the fuck you're doing. You're just mashing shit and you can just wipe out someone's life. It's not a bad concept, it's just implemented badly into the game. Takes too much damage, it's too easy to do, and the biggest issue, honestly, is there's no counter. This is something I've gone in depth and talked about with Dr. Blick in one of his videos before. If there was a counter to the Unity Chain, if you think really hard, it actually it completely changes the meta, and that's something that really just depends on the situation. You could just run simulations in your head constantly of, you know, how it would change the game, but it would definitely change it. Would it be for the good or not? I think it definitely could be. It could also turn it to shit. I just know Unity Chains need to be tweaked, at least. Let me know what you think about that. Alright, and the 7th thing that Burning Blood did wrong that they need to change in One Piece game 2017 is the support system. Now, I'm not one of those people that say get rid of the support system. Only reason I would say that is because it takes up characters that we definitely wanted in the game. But I like the support system. It makes bad characters good, but makes the damage scaling, which is either bad or non-existent. I really can't tell. It just makes it worse. For anyone who doesn't know what damage scaling is, it's how they calculate the damage a single combo can do. There are different ways games use to scale it, you know, whether it be by the number of attacks in the combo, by the type of attacks. However, Spike decides they want to do the damage scaling for Burning Blood, or, you know, whenever they decide what the fuck the issue is. If it weren't for attack buffing supports, it just wouldn't be as big of an issue. I love Garp because he nerfs the best characters in the game really well, but honestly, I think he's bad for the game. I think the support, it just fucks up the meta. There are ways around it, of course, you know, no Devil Fruit characters, but Logias are important, certain Paramecia abilities are important, you know, Conquering Hockey is important. Everything can be important for your team, and the way you decide to mix and match it, the way you decide to put it together. Garp is one of the things that limits that to a very high degree, so there needs to be an overhaul of the support system. However, Spike Chunsoft wants to make that happen. And yeah, that topic as well as a video in itself. So yeah guys, that's 7 things I felt like Burning Blood definitely did wrong that Spike Chunsoft needs to alter in One Piece game 2017 to make it just better, have more longevity, and make everyone happy, so we can finally stop getting hate through the fucking internet. Let me know what changes you really want in the next One Piece game, whether it be by story, whether it be by gameplay. You know, do you want Burning Blood 2, or do you just want something completely different? But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you want more like Burning Blood feedback videos, or, you know, just anything. I want to thank you guys very much for watching. It's been really real. All hell God is up, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Peace.